I'm going to try the Origen. I'm going to try the Origen.
We'll split it up then.
Peke has sort of set down the expectations at the beginning of the day. But I do want to touch on these picks and bans. It is a change-up to the previous game already, Crepo. 5.9, all champions enabled, Lulu, Maokai, and Urgot. So different priorities for these two squads.
So yeah, we were talking about it earlier in the previous game about like what this meta is all about, right? So we see a lot of Urgot, Kalista, and Sivir. That's pretty much the 380 carries, you know, but Kalista does well into Sivir. Sivir is a really big utility AD carry. Urgot is just really strong on lane, and against a team like Giants, I think you want to avoid those strong snowball lane champions because Origen will play better as a team, I imagine, and they just want to get through the mid game and start crushing Giants there.
Well, a little bit unexpected on the Jax ban personally. A lot of respect to Werlip, obviously here from OG. And also just to note, Ledak on the right-hand side of your screen, former coach for Roccat, now coach for Origen.
A little weird. Rek'Sai banned third from Giants Gaming here, so that leaves up both Gragas and Sejuani. Origen says, okay, like we like Sejuani, you know, she's strong, but we just really don't want to give you Gragas, you know, we don't want this early aggression coming out from your jungler Frederick. We want to make it, if you want to pick a strong jungler, yeah, go ahead, take Sejuani, but you'll sacrifice other picks and you'll actually play for mid game then, and that's fine for us.
Well, interesting stat there from Giants. Frederick played Rek'Sai 8 games in Spring Split, went 1-7. Obviously, when you finish 9th, there will be a large number of losses, and carried by Pepinero. It's all about Pepinero, first pick LeBlanc.
What a statement. In a Zir Cassiopeia meta, Pepe says, nah, I'm not playing that. I'm just going to go for my LeBlanc. Blind on blue side. It is likely he would have ended up picking his champion blind anyways. But this gives 5 counter picks for Origen. You know, you just want beefy targets that don't get sniped by that LeBlanc because Giants center around Pepinero.
And everybody knows how Soaz loves playing tanks, right?
Oh yeah,
if you've been following competitive league for a while. But one thing we do have to highlight about Pepe's LeBlanc, he's got a 72% kill participation. Despite their losses, he is, again, as you said, you know, most percentage.
I know firsthand that, you know, how annoying he is to play against. He hides in these rushes, just one-shots you, and you think, at one point, I still remember one game, you're on this position in the map, he's like, there's no way he's going to be here. I still remember, I called push on bottom, I was like, guys, get that. Wait, there's 4 of us. Where did the 5th guy? Oh, he just sniped somebody. And Pepinero is really good, but LeBlanc falls off in the late game. You know, if people actually group up, you know, she can't really snipe that one target. Immediate reply here from Origen. Black Shield coming out to defend against these possible snipes. And then the Kalista Morgana, high range, you know, high damage, binding into the passive from the Kalista. And you can get the Morgana out if she goes in too far. I like the lane. And I think Miffy is really good on Morgana too.
Well, we'll find out how the rest of this pick and ban phase plays out. Let's remember EDG ran Morgana mid into that LeBlanc at MSI in the finals to actually beat SKT. Not expecting it, but it is a possibility. Giants, they do have that Hecarim available. It's a champion that Werlem used exceptionally well to help win those games in week 9, win the tiebreaker with MOM, and make sure they get themselves into the promotion tournament. I want to see which direction he decides to go. It's not going to be the Hecarim this time around. Gnar and Thresh. So they are leaving their jungler and AD carries as their last 2 picks.
So we've seen a lot of Jinx from Audrey. Possible it comes out. Gottfried going for the comfort Thresh pick. A lot of these solo queue supports are really good on Thresh because it's a fun champion to excel at. Gottfried is a Thresh Nautilus player. If you don't know much about him, he's a pretty strong laning support. I'd rate him above Rydal in terms of laning power. And to be fair, Giants didn't have too much coming out post-laning phase, so I think it's a good upgrade. But it's his first game on stage, first game as a professional player. Let's see if the pressure gets to him, if he's not too afraid to make plays, because Giants will have to make plays.
And it's interesting to see what level of impact he'll have on the rest of the team, because one of the things that we did find from Giants is they took a very long time to develop and grow during the Spring Split. And they're going to be facing more, what we assume is a more tougher field this time around. 5 seconds left, and that might be that mid lane Morgana, Crepo.
Now I know, like, now you can see why they picked Morgana. Playing Captain Hindsight, obviously, I should have probably recognized this earlier. Morgana's a flex pick. Back in a couple metas ago, you could play her top lane and on support, but right now she's been played in the mid lane, and it's nice to see Pekka take this safe Morgana approach, you know, to just not give any kills away against Pepinero. Have a decent, like, sniper, throw out binds, you know, to catch people, and this gives the opportunity for Origen to play the Kalista Alistar lane. Incredibly strong lane. Alistar can basically tank for ages and then get pulled out, knocked back in again, you know, has this other knock-up to combo with. It's really hard to play against this, and players of Niels and Miffy's caliber can do a lot of things with this bot lane. If it starts snowballing, Thresh will die a lot. If this 2v2 happens and he gets 1 kill on him, it's so easy to keep snowballing, killing the Thresh over and over again. And Audrey, he's looking at Ashe, and This is a scary team.
I was going to say, I don't like Ashe into Morgana, Rumble, Halister, Kalista, but Giants, they're the ones playing, and Audrey has got a number of matches under his belt. So a couple seconds left on the clock here. Godfred will be locking in the jungle pick for Frederick. It is the Sejuani you expected much later into the draft. And the immobile Ashe for Audrey. A lot of pressure on this guy's positioning.
Yeah, and just a lot of pressure on Peke too. If he ends up playing at Morgana, which is almost guaranteed at this point, he will have to land clutch black shields because he can block the arrow, he can block the Sejuani engage, he can block hooks, he can block damage from Pepinero. He can land some really clutch black shields here, and it's gonna pretty much negate everything Giants is doing. And if you look back at the draft, the first ban Lulu indicated kind of for Origen, I think, that the Giants was going for LeBlanc, and I really want to stress how nice this flex pick Morgana is, because you know, Lulu's out, that's the counter to LeBlanc. Usually pick Morgana, and Origen completes their draft with Evelyn.
They're going EDG style. So again, mid lane Morgana, you've got the jungle Evelyn. We actually just casted an Evelyn jungle game from the LPL this week, and you know, let's see what Origen can do with it.
You know, back in the day when Amazing had 3 junglers out, he went for the Volibear. This time he opts for the Evelyn, hopefully with a slightly greater success. But I like it. He has to tap into what the Fisher called, you know, the tier 2 or the tier 1.5 of junglers. And I think Evelyn is good because it's good against unorganized teams, because one, they're not used to playing against it, and it's really hard to play against it because a good Evelyn, guys, she wants to flank. She wants to basically use her invisibility to get into positions where you don't expect the jungler to be, and then start the fight with an AoE ultimate and start flanking. If she catches the Ashe out and Origen can like pile on that with a Rumble ulti or an Alistar flank in addition to it, that's gonna get messy then. So Giants will have to really ward their flanks, find pink wards on their flanks, and then deep ward with wards in enemy jungle to somehow spot that Evelyn. Because if you don't see her, she can start a snowball on the bot lane, for example. She can start a snowball on the top lane. Rumble can get out of control. A lot of options here for Origen to snowball, but if it comes to team fighting, Sejuani can be very destructive.
She can be destructive and she can be useless depending on how well you land those ultimates. There are your teams. Godfred's first time on the big stage. Neil's first time since qualifying for the LCS on the big stage. Let us know, guys. Hashtag GIA win, hashtag OG win. Battle in the middle lane. It's 2 Spaniards, Pepinero and ex-Peke, and it's LeBlanc into Morgana. It's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on.
Relatively squishy targets still on the side of Origen. The only tank that you could say like this guy is actually tanky is Miffy on Alistar, and like that ulti will eventually wear off. So we'll see if Pepinero finds some of these juicy targets that he really likes. But I think Peke he's smart of a mid laner. He's seen so many metagames come and go. He should be able to hold his own in mid lane.
Well, if nothing else, OG have come out the gates with, I don't want to say a surprise, because it's not really a surprise, but a little unexpected in terms of their team composition.
One would almost say a hidden pick.
And the invisible strat is the most successful, potentially.
And they spot Giants moving in, and immediately they collapse. They react to the invade. This is why 5-man's invades are very dangerous, because it allows the other team to either react and put all their 5 people, you know, around you, or deep ward. Right now, Giants, they don't know if Origen is deep warding the enemy jungler, or if they're just setting up a bait.
The tension is palpable, but nobody from Giants has moved yet. There is the ward just in front of Baron Buck.
I think they got spotted though when we saw the pinks come out, so no action happening really. Amazing scouting. Let's see if we get a normal lane. Giants wants to dodge this matchup, by the way. Ashe Thresh is not fun to play into. I think Kalista Alistar if played well.
Well, Pepinero just in the right place at the right time. Reveals OG, and that means no action ensues despite the tension. So let's see how the lane's set up. The deep wards all the way to the top half of the map there in favor of Giants.
This gives you mind games on so many levels, you know, people basing left and right. So I'm not gonna join the mind games. I'm just gonna see what happens and commentate on it that way.
Copping out already. Copping out already. Well, we'll see how this works out. So is obviously revealed by that ward. Giants with a little bit more information to work with. It looks like they're not actually going to be opting themselves into the lane swap. No, Soaz was headed up top.
Now, playing this lane out from level 1, Kalista Alistar is a lot weaker than Ashe Thresh, so Ashe is pretty much a poke champion, so she can definitely, like, they want to try and poke out, use a double range to get them out of the lane, but we'll watch that later. At the moment, we're watching Pepinero put some pressure on Peke, but a good binding.
Yeah, well, a good prediction. Expecting that distortion. Ends up being a relatively even trade. But no Flask here for Pepe in the middle lane. Maybe expecting a little bit of a safer lane.
The last time I saw this matchup played, actually, Morgana started pool, I think it was in China, and immediately pushed into LeBlanc, and second level skill Black Shield, and just kept pushing him over and over and over, not giving him the freedom to actually poke back. Then you don't require to land those counter bannings, right? You just play push, 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 push. But Becca feels safer getting pushed in, and he relies on his skill shot accuracy to play the matchup that way. Let's see if he has that range.
Well, 1 for 1 so far. Off to a good start, as we do see Amazing go a little low in his jungle. Got a full clear, and we'll just see where he puts his priority on ganks. Death Sentence just wide of Mithy, and it is currently Niels and Mithy that are being pushed in by Origen and Godfrey.
So if you see the bot lane in that state, you don't even have to watch the game to know what happened. Giants push, but they over push. They can't really deny too much CS. You know, Niels is about 2 or 3 CS down, but he's comfortable in that. Against double range with a melee support that has sustain, he's fine farming under his tower. Ash Thresh will try to poke, but they won't do much. You know, they will never get a kill. Even on the hook, they can't kill because there's not enough distance in lane to chase. So they're comfortably pushed in bottom. Beck is now starting to counter push. Like all lanes are relatively safe, and Sejuani's not an early game jungler, so this gives Origen the freedom to play around with this Evelyn and see if they can land the ganks.
Well, we did see Amazing slowly move his way towards that bottom lane. Decides to hop into the jungle and grab the Grump, and we also caught a quick glimpse of Werlib and Soaz up top, just trading and CSing as effectively as they can. Werlib starting with that longsword and potion, so a little different to what we saw out of Huni in the previous game, who went full tank. Let's see if Werlib decides to go for that Black Cleaver build, which I mentioned we have seen a few different times.
Yeah, he just wants to use his range advantage to poke out Soaz out of lane. Soaz opting for a Thorn Shield here, basically reducing those repetitive auto attacks. Meanwhile, Fredric's farming up a Storm, and I think that's what you should do on Sejuani, unless you can find a nice opening, a nice gank path. But it's really hard to do that against pushed in bot lane, pushed in top lane. In the mid lane, Morgana is super safe, so that's not really going to be an option. So Frederic opts to go for the quick level 6 and start snowballing there. I think that's the right choice. Amazing hover around bottom for a while, you know, potential counter gank. He realized nothing was going on. Frederic is trying to like go into the lane right now. Because the wave went into the tower, it's what they call bouncing back. Right now the wave's coming back, and now Frederic he's snuck into that bottom brush, and we'll see Miffy potentially ward it, but they should be careful.
The Death Sentence as a bait. Frederic may find himself a battle cow. He's caught Mithy out. The slow is out. The flail is swinging. He gets the knockup, but there's no support from Godred or Adri.
I think he was too nervous there. He should have waited, held on to that, but they're going on a top lane counter gang. And nothing's happening. Alright.
I think Amazing forgot about the hop. Actually put himself in a perfect position to let Werlib get out clean.
Nah, it's some pressure at least. But yeah, I really like the gank timing from Frederic there, but I think Godfrey was just a little nervous. He could have hit into that rush, and Miffy would have had to face it, else Niels would have been zoned out of CS, you know. So if they held on a little more, they could have definitely blown a summoner there on Miffy and came back for the return gank pre-6. But nothing happened. No point dwelling in the past. Let's see what's going on in mid lane.
Well, 5 minutes on the clock. Even on gold, even on CS. Small advantage in favor of Soaz, but that's evened out by a minute advantage to Adri. And I think a lot of psychological threat from the fact that you don't know where Amazing is. Yep. Giants do not seem to be over-pushing. They seem to be respecting the potential of a counter gank.
I'd wager this gank's not going to work, but you know, Miffy wants to ward it. He'll probably put the ward on the edge of the brush, if any. Like, the waves is just too bad of a spot to get the gank ward. There's not enough distance to make it.
Well, the gank isn't going to be needed when a Death Sentence connects, and this time round, Godfrey connects. Miffy interrupts the knockback with a Pulverize, and is forced to flash to safety.
And this is why I like Miffy as a player enough, like, a lot. He's not afraid to take skill shots for his AD carry. You saw that hook hit because Miffy wanted it to hit. Immediate play follow-up, that leaves there's one more CC left, and it's a knockup from Sejuani. He tanks that, flashes out. You know, he knows he's going to have to blow a summoner anyways to get out of the game, and that's fine. As long as the flash and the heal stay up on Kalista, once they hit level 6, Kalista gets another flash for Miffy. You know, that ultimate is so vital. Miffy can start playing aggressive again later and just get pulled out every time he goes low, and if he goes low anyways, can pop his ulti. So really good flash usage from him. You want to choose AD carry or support? Definitely on the support there. He tanked that hook. They survived, and yeah, we're waiting for level 6 now.
I remember from our times on the analyst desk together, the amount of times I heard Crappo saying a respect flash. A respect flash. Do not put yourself in a position where you disrespect your opponents. That long sword from Werlib was completed into the Hex Drinker against all of the AP threats. And both of the AD carries after an extended standard laning phase are getting closer to that BF sword threshold.
Yeah, exactly. If you're new to watching bot lane, 55 CS on a good CS level just means a BF sword and maybe 1 or 2 potions. So both of them are looking to back. You'll see who gets the most ideal push. Very often, if you get an ideal base timing, that will get snowballed into a dragon maybe. Maybe we see Origen here picking up a dragon later, but for now, like, not much is going to happen. They might go for the full BF pickaxe on the Ashe. That's actually more advantageous because Kalista wants to play it slightly differently. So the BF pickaxe timing might even be better.
Both of these teams showing their opponents a lot of respect. We've not seen any real attempts there.
I didn't see it, but the crowd just went, ooh.
Yeah,
Frederick
grabbed the blue buff.
The blue buff, and that's really vital. If your main carry is Pepinero on LeBlanc, no blue buff is going to make it rough. Amazing is looking for a flank.
I think he's going to find it. There's no Crystal Arrow yet from Audrey, but before that's happening, Soaz is up top. He's overheated, throws down the Equalizer. Willem forced to hop away. If we look back at the bottom lane, Amazing, he's still looking for the engage.
We saw LeBlanc go to the blue buff. Amazing should not be scared. He knows that blue buff just got handed off, but Pepinero came back without the blue buff. That might be confusing Amazing right here, because usually if you see middle laner with blue buff, indicates that jungler just handed it off. He's not bottom for the counter gang. I think Amazing should have went there.
Well, he held on. Playing it safe, playing it steady. We're still even.
It was a mind game from Giants all along, you know. They didn't want to show that blue buff because they knew they would die on bottom. Giants have evolved as a team.
Oh, I don't know. That's a bold, bold claim, Cotton. We'll see how it works out. And again, it's just...
He's wasting so much
all
time
of
in
his
the bot
confidence.
lane.
But I guess
4 camps up.
At the end of the day, when lanes are not too heavily pushed, Amazing's not going to have a great time engaging. Until Frederick gets access to their Glacial Prison, he's not going to have a great time engaging. So both of these comps were looking for some time. We're looking to farm up. Let's keep an eye on these AD carries, because it's still 77 CS to 73. They're both sitting on quite a lot of gold. 2,500 for Audrey, 2,300 for Niels.
Yeah, they're playing Farm Simulator right now, not League of Legends.
It's hard to argue with you, Crapo.
Well, it's easy if nothing's happening. And you're always right.
Well, we'll see how this works out. Once the items start getting picked up, how do these dual lanes start impacting once we see BF swords and pickaxes if Frederick opts to hold on to that Glacial Prison?
So what Frederick's doing now is he expecting Amazing to do what he did earlier. He wants Amazing to randomly show up for a flank and then counter gank, and this is the exact reason that Amazing didn't go earlier. Even though he can deduce the information, you know, that Frederick wasn't there, this is why you're scared. If you engage first with Eve, get counter Glacial Prison, you know, it's over for you. So both teams playing with a lot of respect, and it's expectable. First game of the season. First game for Origen here, first game for Gottfried, you know, a lot of first games across the board. 0-0 at 10 minutes, and it's kind of horrendous, those graphs we showed earlier, kind of useless about aggression in the EU LCS.
It's so sad when it works out that way. We look at all the kills, we talk 15 minutes, aggressive teams win, and then we've got these controlled, decisive,
but you know, I like that.
thought-provoking games.
CLG.
The thing that's... Oh, don't start. The thing that's great about it, though, is it does show you a lot of insight into teams' mindsets. They don't want to give out, they don't want to do risky things. They don't want to go over-aggressive. They don't want to put themselves in bad situations. But we do see OG taking advantage of the back timing from Audrey to go for it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said earlier. Once somebody cops out of that lane, you know, once that item spike first, you can just run to Dragon and take it down because your base damage is so high, you don't even need items to take it. 4-man Dragon. The wave went into the bottom, so there's no freeze. Nothing lost for Giants. That wave will bounce back beautifully. They can pick that up. BF Sword, Boots 2, and Kalista. Really, really good pickup for Origen here.
So a few items across the board. We don't have a whole lot else to look at for the moment. Sork Shoes as well as Abyssal for Pekka. We do see Pepe trying to roam, looking for a target. If he finds Amazing, he might kill Amazing. Morellonomicon is already completed, but look at the bottom. You can see Frederick's in lane. This is going to be a 2v2, and we can see the roam from Godfred. Amazing is being caught up, but the chains do not connect. Frederick has held on to his prison. If any target is available, he might.
And these are such interesting situations to read. So Pepinero moves for his signature mid to top roam, hides in the bush. He sees Soaz back off. That indicates that Origen is aware, or that Giants is aware that Origen is aware of the gang, you know, but he doesn't go all the way to the top lane. He just stays there, see how Soaz reacts. Then he can actually figure out where the ward is, you know, because if Soaz immediately goes back, he knows he's on a ward, but he wasn't on a ward, so he waited for Amazing to foul and try and get him out there. Really, really good play by Pepinero though. He knew if he went for the top gank, it wouldn't work, so he hovered and tried to make a pick.
Well, you see Pepinero with a good trade onto the 0-mana Pekka. 10 CS advantage in this matchup, somewhat expected. And obviously Pekka just going to keep doing what he can under the tower before he decides to back as well. Frederick now feeling confident as he's starting to move into Origen's jungle. 12.5 minutes, Mitch. Only a dragon.
I want to see a first blood
for Origen. Longest first blood of Spring Split was around 23-24 minutes, if memory serves correctly. Let's see how long Giants can push it. They're halfway there.
No, I didn't quite see it, but I think Amazing took a second blue buff to get back the XP lost by camping bottom. They're going on a bot lane here. Audi gets caught. No, respect flash.
That's a flash away, but an instant flash into Pulverize and headbutt. The Lantern pulls Audrey backwards. The Enchanted Arrow stops Niels for a second, but that's first blood to the newcomer on the stage. Here comes Whirlip. He slams them against the wall. They get frozen by the prison, and that's 2 kills to Giants. But there was a reply teleport from Soaz. He's put down the equalizer, 2v3, and the Giants are low. Soaz is looking for more, but he's overheated, and he's not able to turn that one around. So first blood to Niels, reply kill to Whirlip, and all of a sudden we talk about seeing first blood, and it happens.
Whirlip's TP was done by the time Soa started channeling his. Both TPs were actually really, even Whirlip was played. If you watch, you know, slightly more organized teams plays, the second that skirmish starts, immediate TP, and that could have meant the fact that like Audrey could have survived that, you know. But we see here, he basically gets caught in the position where even if he flashes, Miffy will flash after him, and then the Lantern is not enough because Kalista can E or just slow him down and just the Ignite takes down. But he knocks him onto the Lantern. It's like, here you go, sir, take your risk. Cheerio, mate.
And there's those teleports.
Yeah, but watch the teleport. That teleport's out, and now Soaz is only channeling all the way in the back. There's no wards. Really good ulti by Frederick. I gotta commend him for that. And yeah, they take down Miffy almost, but this is where Soaz, he's not in the fight, you know, he doesn't want to join, but he does the safety equalizer just to get Miffy out of there. And Gottfried even has to blow his flash.
So 1-for-1, teleport's blown as well, so no advantage in that direction. With the forced back timings, we do see some more items. We'll touch on that. Pepinero looking for Niels. He didn't find a target. Amazing, however, has found Godfrey. Gonna keep running him down with those hate spikes. Soaz does not have equalizer for a few more seconds. The Lantern pulls Audrey backwards, but the Pulverize knocks them both up. That's another kill to Origen. Amazing's on the board. The Flame Spitter puts Soaz on the board. 3 kills for the newcomers to the LCS, and they've got an uncontested tower to put damage down. They do usher Frederick away.
Shows a lot of faith from Origen to leave your Kalista alone in the top lane against the LeBlanc. Peck is moving up there right now because Peppy wants to make a play. He wants to react to what happened on the bot lane. Let's see if they can bait Peppy in area into being over-aggressive there. But really well-executed fight by Origen, you know, 1 by 1. Giants felt safe, you know, they're like, we got the Lantern, we're out, we're safe. And then basically the flying coming out from Miffy there, really, really solid play. And no cross-map objective from Giants. And they're 1,000 gold behind that.
Wow, very well played from Miffy indeed, as we do see Whirlip as well as Frederick in this middle lane, but Miffy is a little bit out of position. He's actually knocked Whirlip back. We do see Niels has joined the party. Whirlip with a defensive gnaw, a knockup from the Fate's Call, and now Whirlip is chunked down from the Ren. The Ash Arrow comes out, it does land onto Miffy. He's going to be falling to very prey in a second. No, he's still alive! He manages to headbutt the minion to survive!
The minion to actually get out.
He managed to get that one out! That was fantastic play from Miffy, 0-0-4, and he is showing up on the big stage once more.
And the synergy with Niels. Niels pulled Miffy out mid-animation of the Gnar ulti, and he waited with his ulti so long, he made Giants believe that he didn't have it, popped it, and then used the base heal from Alistar to just survive. Meanwhile, Peke, he's dealing with Pepinero because he has that black shield, and now Giants lose their tower in the mid lane, and things are falling apart for Giants. Origen is playing, and this is, I just want to highlight, this is Miffy, you know. He likes doing these things, you know, where any other support would pop his ultimate and just be like, alright, I'm safe. No, he's waiting a little more, then pops his ulti. He wants to bait people into situations where they overextend, and he's just a smart player.
Using Alistar to the best of his abilities. We did see him pick...
Close.
A little close, but it works. And all of a sudden, in just 2 to 3 minutes of gameplay, Origen 2 towers. They secure that dragon from earlier, which was going to respawn in a moment. 2,500 gold lead, and it's Origen almost punishing Giants' play in that mid lane and catching them out of position.
They were comfortable waiting for mistakes, and the beauty of this is, like, yes, they have 2 towers, but they gave none away. They have 4 kills, they only gave 1 away, and they have 1 dragon, and they gave none away. They're playing really, really secure League of Legends. They lose their top tower now, it's bound to happen eventually, but
Trade for dragon.
Yeah, again, you know, they're playing an objective-based gameplay against a team that is notorious for going for a lot of picks and a lot of kills, you know.
And this does actually relate back to the story we told at the beginning of the day, where Giants, they make plays, but they don't necessarily measure the cost. So Pepinero is looking for Mithy, gonna decide to peel away. Soaz has got the equalizer available, may use it to cut off Giants on the side lane. He does in fact do that, maybe a little too far away for the rest of Origen to respond. Niels is looking forward, that's a flash into Dark Binding. Audrey catches Soaz up, but the Splitter is still burning him away. Agony's Embrace is melting Giants on the side lane. It's a 2-for-1 as the Glacial Prison locks up Origen. A flash away from Godfred. He's trying to survive, and it looks like he will. Frederick is going to face plant into Pekka, and that is going to be a 3-for-1 trade in exchange for a tower, as Origen are putting some pressure in the middle.
Let's take a trip down memory lane, and remember when both TPs came down in bottom lane? Both of them were still on cooldown. Soas's was on cooldown. That means Werlip's TP was also on cooldown, and that prompted the hyper aggression from Origen here, and the little bit of what they call the wonky equalizer, you know, yeah, it didn't quite hit. The purpose of that equalizer was to slow Giants down, because there was a number advantage for Origen. 5 against 4, they knew they could win the fight if they just found a way to make a fight, you know, and they got the fight. Beautiful flash binding aggressively from Peke on Audrey as well, who I think lost his flash in that earlier fight. So cooldown tracking at the highest level is really important. They had about 10 seconds left on the teleport. They went for the play. Werlip, yeah, he got a tier 2 tower, but Origen, they picked up 3 kills, and I believe another tower too. So they're trading objectives and kills in their favor.
Trading towers indeed. The top inner for the middle inner, respectively, for the two. Giants do look like they secure one more, as Origen unable to get themselves back to lane. And we're about to hit 20 minutes, and as Origen that are again in the lead, they've got the tempo. Werlip's picked himself up a frozen mallet on that Gnar. We did see the Morellonomicon completed by Peke. Bloodthirster here for Neil. So a few big item spikes as we start to move into this roaming mid-game portion of the match.
Yeah, and the items tell the story for Origen. Miffy picks up the Distortion Boots, he wants more flashes, he picks up a Kindle Gem, CDR, because that is why Alistar is such a good support, because he has the liberty to build whatever he wants, because his ulti basically means I will survive this fight for 7 seconds, and I want to do as much as I can in that fight. If you want the Righteous Glory, you can build that for the hyper engaged. If you want more cooldown for more knockups, you can build that. Distortion Boots for more flashes. You have the liberty to be creative in your build, because your ulti will always work in your favor, and that's why he's really good, especially paired with Kalista. Once your ultimate wears off, your Q's on cooldown, you have no more use in the fight, you get pulled out, go back in, knock up chain, and then you've done your job as a support.
Well, Crepo, both teams have opted to give their opponents one side of the map. We did see Giants pushing bottom, but they've relegated Pepinero to the solo pushing. Looks like he will get the tower, but at the cost of 2 in the top lane. And Origen were able to get both the top, or rather the inner turret here as well. Almost managed to defend from.
Yeah, but they're setting up a dive right now. You know, they're fine with LeBlanc solo split pushing bottom. They don't care, because they can win the fight 45. They're luring out Giants, and it might even turn on them later.
Well, the Ash Arrow flies through, it lands onto Niels. That's the target they want. Miffy is thrown to the side.
Greedy.
Niels is gnawed up against the wall. Summoner Heal forced to blow, but we did see that Werlip was taking that lantern out to safety. The box has been used to peel away, and Giants threw everything in the kitchen sink at Niels, and they are unable to secure that kill.
Impressive that Giants walked away there unscathed, because I think Origen could have punished that with a flank, but maybe they just held back a little bit just to make sure they didn't die. But yeah, that's the risk, right? When LeBlanc's solo pushing bottom and she's your main damage in these fights, and you overextend, you're very prone to flanks, especially when your AD carry is 0-3, you know, only Infinity Edge and its heal. You can lose these fights very quickly, especially when Soaz puts on an RBQ.
Well, those two inner turrets have dropped very, very low. Pepinero has now been matched by Soaz's Rumble. And Frederick's got a couple of those Kalista Spears available for rend. Eventually, Origen secure their 5th tower of the game, extend that gold lead ever so slightly further, and Giants are looking for a way. The thing is, they've got so much engage. Ashe, Sejuani, Thresh, there's ways to get targets. Giants are just not in the right place at the right time.
The problem at this point in the game, if you have to use your engage from far to start a fight, you don't have it anymore for the fight itself, right? And these fights will last long enough for Origen to come up on top anyways. If you long range engage with Arrow and with Sejuani ulti, by the time you've closed the gap, the CC is gone, and you can't use it in the fight to lock the enemies down. By that time, Origen has more damage, more HP, more black shields, more Kalista ultimates, and they will just kill you. So you kind of have to catch them off guard. And this is why Origen is winning this game, because they're pacing really well, really slowly. They don't care. This can go on for 5 more minutes, because you don't always have to watch the gold, you have to watch the pressure. And Origen has all the pressure in this game. Eventually they can step back into the darkness and bait a Baron, and if they don't bait it, they can just do it, and then they can close out the game that way.
And something I do want to highlight that Stress had actually said on the analyst desk when he was talking about Origen Origen rather, in the Challenger Series.
That's your job.
Is the fact, I haven't done it 20 minutes, it just clicked. Is the fact that Pekka had actually changed his style. He was sort of one of the primary carries of Fnatic last year. You can see it on this Morgana, it's not really the I win you the fight by going in and blowing people up. It's reactive, it's defensive, and he's relying on Soaz and Niels to help carry, to get the damage done, protecting them and peeling if and where necessary.
Yeah, and if there's any game to do this, it's this one, right? Stylistically speaking, Giants gets carried by Pepinero, you know, and then they just build to shut him down. If he's not doing anything, he is 1-1-0 right now, and Peke, he's having the time of his life.
Well, let's take a look. I'm expecting an arrow here from Audrey. This one flies out. It does connect onto Mithy as he re-emerges from Fate's Call. So as is knocked backwards, stunned up by Whirlip. Now we see Mithy finally forced to flash away. They've dropped Whirlip's Nam. Peke is flashing forward with the Soul Shackles. The Rend plus one more spear is enough to get a kill. And Niels almost dropped by Pepinero, but almost is simply not enough. Amazing runs him down. And that's 3 kills for 0 and the potential of another dragon. Scratch that. They want Baron.
And this is the difference between solo queue and LCS. You're in a choke point, you're running away, you see that Sejuani storming at you, Ash launches their arrow, it's about to hit you in the face. Miffy jumps into it, he takes it like a hero. Kalista ultis forward to take that arrow, ulti out and tanks 4 people. He won that fight, in my opinion, just keeping people busy with the Alistar pick, making sure the arrow doesn't hit his teammates, and this fight went long enough for Origen to just deal so much damage. They're getting contested on the back.
Audrey's, that's very brave. He's got caught, he's got knocked up. Whirlip arrived, but Audrey was on the wrong side of the river, gives up his life at the cost. Well, actually, that was the cost for stopping Baron, so at least stall out that pushing power that Origen could have secured.
They might get a counter dragon here, making it definitely worth, but there's a lot of wards in the area from Origen. They might have some home guard boots coming out as well. They might be able to stop this, but you know, I'm not exactly sure how quick this dragon will go down. But yeah, let's watch this here. So Miffy, he gets black shielded, defended from damage. He sees the LeBlanc damage come out, so he gets ulti by Kalista, and then he goes back in. He almost got the arrow. I think it actually went on Amazing. Or on Miffy, I'm actually not sure, but he had the intention of tanking it, let's just say that. But watch him right now, he's in front of 4 people right here. Meanwhile, Whirlip is trying to kill the background. He says, guys, I got him stunned into the wall. Where's my follow-up, you know? They're like, nah, we're busy killing the support, and yeah, it's not really gonna work out.
Well, we did see so much damage from Pepinero onto Niels. Like we said, just unable to find the target. We did see in the picture-in-picture, while that was going on, Dragon was in fact secured by Giants, so at least they've got themselves those bonus statistics as the game scales and becomes a lot more relevant, and reducing or delaying the threat of that 5-2.
I really like the way Niels uses Kalista ulti as well. He basically waits until an animation is done, you know? He waits until damage from LeBlanc is on the way, he waits until the ulti from Gnar is cast, and then pulls Miffy out, you know? He makes them use abilities on his support, but then pulls them out before the damage gets applied, keeping him nice and healthy, and allowing him to get a really beneficial ulti timing. And it's these little subtle things that make the difference between a great player and an LCS level player.
Oh, Miffy definitely LCS level. 0-0-10. His team has 11 kills. It's very hard to fault his play. All the way from laning phase to that roam in the mid lane. On the side of Giants, it did change to Godfred on this Thresh, but I've not really seen those lanterns or death sentences be massively effective yet.
It's really hard against this lineup to do though, especially once you have more attention focused around your bot lane with the scaling AD carry. It's rough, but OG is looking for a fight.
We'll see if they can find it. Initiation, I think, somewhat favors Giants. However, Origen can definitely surprise with the Evelyn, with the equalizer.
But again, you know, LeBlanc is split pushing, and to be scared of LeBlanc, she has to be around you somewhere in the flanks, you know, so you have to move and adapt. But Pepinero is just taking up farm, he's putting up pressure, but 4-1 is nice. If your 4v4 can win a fight or engage a fight, that becomes beneficial. But at this point, they're fine leaving him in the top lane. He's never going to take down that base tower, you know, and then they'll just clear the wave immediately and set back up. And we have the Scuttle Trap for Baron, we being Origen in this point of view, obviously. So they're fine sticking in the mid lane. They're not really threatened by the LeBlanc split push, because they'll just dive mid and look for a fight and then translate it into a Baron.
We'll see if Origen can secure it, whether or not Giants will be able to interrupt it a second time round. A little while ago, you'd mentioned Audrey was sitting on that Infinity Edge and Zeal. Still really only sitting on that with the Agility Cloak to back it up. Still working his way towards that Phantom Dancer, whereas Niels with Bloodthirster, Hurricane, and the QSS. Super important against that hard CC from Giants.
This is the scary point. The wave went in, SOAS wants to push it, but they have no idea where LeBlanc is. She could flank, and this could be good.
Well, let's see if they can. Niels has already used the QSS. Heal now pop. Flash is still available. Pepinero has found him. Giants have got one of the main damage dealers away from the fight, but they do lose their support. Now Amazing is the next to fall, and Frederick, he manages to survive from the equalizer. Mythy knocks him back, delays, tries to keep himself alive a little while longer, but it's Giants that find 3 kills, and all of a sudden, close that gold gap. They were 5k gold down, they're now 3k gold. And they get a massive, massive swing in control and tempo.
Fantastic game read by Giants here. You know, they pushed in the top wave, waited for somebody to defend it, and Pepinero finally was in the dark. He finally was in the flank, and they immediately, no hesitation, start a fight. Origen should not be a Baron when in between you and your top laner is a LeBlanc. This is way too greedy, way too dangerous. Just War of the Wild and get out. But look at this, Frederick comes over the wall, double man ulti, you know, Whirlup is stacking up his rage bar. TP from SOAS comes, but it's too little too late because LeBlanc is flanking, and once the 80 carry is down, she has so much damage. Adri is, for once in these fights, not caught. He's dishing out damage. Godfried sacrifices his life to trade for the jungler, and really good fight from Giants.
Impressive indeed for Giants. It's giving them a little breath of hope. It felt like Origen was strangling them out of the map inch by inch, with only Pepinero trying to hold on for dear life. But now all of a sudden, we do see Phantom Dancer, Vamp Scepter picked up, Randian's Omen for Whirlup. It's a lot of armor and HP against actually, I consider quite a lot of ability power damage. We'll see how we can make that work. Over on the other side, Hourglass for SOAS for a little while.
No.
Big item points are picked up.
No reaction push from Origen in the mid lane, so Giants is switching things up right now. Instead of sending Pepinero solo right now, they're basically butting up with him, going for the 5-man. They haven't done that in a while, so this might catch Origen off guard. And they're kind of afraid to 5-man push in middle here because they're doing a 1-3-1, and with people in your back, it's really dangerous to push in forward with the 3-man squad. Whirlup still has TP, so he's keeping them busy. So I like the map movement from Giant because they're securing the Baron area, and there's not enough pressure on the bot lane for Giants to be pressured back to bot. So if they can force a bait right now, it could be good. Otherwise, they'll have to pick up that bot lane, wave again, push that out, wait for the pressure. So that's again 2 minutes from now. They can start doing the same thing. Now they'll have to fix their bot lane.
We're in for another very, very important game of guess the right direction.
Yeah, it's a chain of events, right? You move somebody to bot, that opens like a gap for the other team to walk in the top side. It's cross-map objectives. This is all what League of Legends is about, and wave control right now. So you see Pepinero ping. He's doing the mirror of what he did earlier on top lane. He's going to do it on bot lane right now. The problem is he can't flank in the back to get to the team around Baron right now. He's all the way at the other side of the map. This makes it a lot trickier, and it could prompt a Baron rush from Origen in full vision to basically bait Giants into a fight they can't win, but they have to take it anyways because they don't want to lose the Baron. They could also start playing around Dragon, but I think 1 Dragon, 2 Dragons, it's easier for Origen to now. They see LeBlanc on the bottom, or they will see her, immediately move into the Dragon area, the Baron area rather, and then just take that and control that.
So let's see if Origen agree with that strategy, Trepo.
Hey, I'm on this desk for a reason.
30 minutes.
I'd be wrong.
10 seconds until this Dragon spawns. They've actually pushed their way down. They did briefly catch a glimpse of Pepinero. They will be spotted out by that reworked Hawk shot. And we see ourselves in a position where
Pepe's flanking again. He's doing the same thing on the other side of the map because of the Dragon timing, and Origen's buying into it.
Well, let's see what they can do. Pepe's got caught out. He lands a dog binding, and instantly Pepinero is down. 5v4 now, as we see Frederick on the retreat. Glacial Prison has been used, and Whirlup has got not a lot of options to throw down that Gnar. He does hold on to it for a while, knocks him into free space. There's no stun. The Ash Arrow finally, but again, it's too little and too late. And Origen, they just instantly win the fight by taking out Pepinero with a great Dark Binding.
Yeah, you don't full pick it twice, you know. Seasoned mid laner, he saw it once, he's like, alright, I think Pepe's gonna try this again. Very, very telegraphed play from Giants, and, you know, at that point it becomes a skill matchup, you know. Pepinero has to dodge that binding and still find a way to get his damage across. Didn't happen, and that means immediate fight over. If your flank fails, if one of your sides gets taken out, you're playing 5v4 immediately, or worse, you know, 5v3, and you lose the fight immediately.
And we did see Audrey and Godfrey trying to take a Dragon, but they were pushed away by the threat of Mythy and SOAS. 3-man Origen squad secure the first Baron of the game. Dragon is still left standing.
I really like the way Origen is moving their resources around. They could have went for, say, 5-man Baron, but they know the game well enough that 3 people is enough. They know that there's 2 people left on Giants that might actually want to take that Dragon. They don't want to give Giants a free Dragon, so they keep a couple people around to stop them. They take the free Baron, move to the Dragon, and start snowballing the objective game again. They've only given away 5 kills to Giants, and only 2 to Pepinero, so fantastic play from Origen.
On the side of Niels, he did not have enough lifesteal. Got himself a Blade of the Rune King now. Even more attack speed, even more tank sustain, if you like, to keep himself up to these fights. So Dragon is up. Look at the positioning from Giants. They do not have Peppy. He's up in the top lane. Audrey was bottom, but he's on his way up to the jungle, and Giants, I think, wisely back away. Do not overcommit without the primary damage dealer being so far away.
It's one big deja vu, right? Just Pepinero split pushing over and over, and his team basically just watching him almost, you know, sitting in the mid lane, sitting on the bot lane, hovering around a tier 2. You know, they pull the trigger when they have a flank, but Origen now knows about that game plan. No versatility, they're down 5,000 gold, Baron buff. It's looking pretty grim, because Origen is playing pretty collected. That means they should use this Baron buff to take at least down 2 towers. There's only 1 tier 2 left, which means likely a base tower will fall, and then they can start snowballing, unless Pepinero makes a pick.
Well, let's see whether or not he can find a target. Distortion's up, and then pop the Black Shield from Peke with all that MR as well. And we did see Peke surviving the trade. So, Baron empowered minions on the bottom lane. Mythy going to get caught by those ethereal chains. As Amazing is looking to set up a flank. Soaz has put on a very early equalizer. This could be just distraction while they secure the tower. 3 members of Origen flowing forward. The Glacial Prison does absolutely nothing. Niels is able to scare away Frederick as he flashes over the wall. So tower secured, and a lot of initiation tools all used. No box, no arrow, no prison, no Gnar ultimate, and Origen can set up on the inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, in addition, the Giants members are low, so even if the fight breaks out, they're likely to just die in this fight. But they don't want to give up this inhibitor because it's snowball the game. But they have no choice. Adri gets bound.
Oh, he hasn't managed to get taken out just yet. Mythy gets pulled backwards once again by Niels, pulling the Fate's Call button. They're onto the inhibitor. Willip gets knocked up. Mega Gnar is getting close to popping, but he's already used the active portion of it. And Origen just executes the tower push fantastically. The only cost was Soaz's life, but they got super minions in the bottom lane and pushed Giants all the way away.
And this is the exact reason that the casters always harp on the fact that tier 2 towers are likely to be lost in a Baron scenario. You just don't have the time or the space to defend them because those Baron creeps are so tough to deal with. At the same time, you're so vulnerable to flanks. On your left side on that bottom tier 2, you don't have a wall protecting you like you do in your base, right? And basically it just invites Eve to flank, the equalizer comes down, and at that point, Giants using their engage tools as disengage. And once you're forced to do that, you're very likely to start losing that fight.
And they did.
And they did indeed.
Well, let's take a quick look again at those items. I like to keep an eye on Adri because on that sort of scaling ADC, we're 35 minutes in, still looking to complete his 3rd item.
He's too far behind the curve, you know. Like, what do you do in this situation? You can't fault him for it at this point. You know, he wants more damage, doesn't have he wants more life still to stay alive, but then he doesn't have a Lost Whisper. He wants more gold, but he's not gonna get it at this point. He's basically choked out of gold. Pepinero's taken up all the farm, but Pekka's Black Shield, you saw it. 200 HP maybe he lost with a Black Shield on a combo from LeBlanc. It's looking pretty grim.
Well, we'll see whether or not Giants can dig deep enough. Super minions down at the bottom. No Baron, but I don't know if Origen even need it. They connected the Dark Binding onto Frederick. Glacial Prison is available, but they're not stacking up just yet. There goes Pepinero from the side lane, unable to get his burst down onto a target. Right, Godfred connects with the Death Sentence and nobody follows it up. Mega Gnar is available, Flash is not. Willip's got a lot of distance to cover. He's unable to do it. Keep an eye on your mini-map. Super minions now just breaching the walls of Giants' base, and Origen may want to play around that. If there's no one to deal with them, Origen may be able to get on the next in-hit turret.
Yeah, you might be sitting at home saying, Origen, why don't you fight? You're ahead, you could win that fight. They don't want to because they can just wait for someone to defend that bottom tower, break open the fight, poke Ashe out here, and now Giants is in trouble because there's 400, 500 HP maybe left on that tower. They can burn that tower down and then start a fight without having to worry about the tower damage. At the same time, minions are piling in on bottom every wave, super creeps. Amazing's looking out for the LeBlanc flanking.
Well, we do see Pepinero lands right in his head. Mythy flashes forward, gets the knock-up, headbutts him backwards. Amazing may go down. The Ignite is burning. We did see the inhibitor turret falling. Amazing was killed by Ignite, but Godfred is traded in return. Ash Arrow connects there onto Niels, but it simply does not matter. Frederick is killed on the front line as another inhibitor now falls. Origen have taken out super minions, inhibitors in the top and the bottom lane. 3 members of Giants are down for another 30 seconds, and they're committing to the Nexus turrets. This is going to be the final push.
Yeah, good resource management rather there from Origen. They basically know that they can put 2 people on Peppy and still win the remaining fight 3v4 because they're so far ahead. Nice fight, clean execution, only 7 kills, 8 now away, but they're getting the Nexus and they're taking a first game in the European LCS.
Origen are on the board, taking down Giants in 37 minutes. Within 5.5 minutes of that Baron, they were able to close the game out, really showing how important it is to secure that objective. Slow and steady wins the race.
Well, not according to the graph. Slow and steady wins the race. I think when you play against Giants with this type of composition, you know, all centered on the LeBlanc pick, you saw it. They ban out Lu, telegraphing the LeBlanc pick. I actually picked up on it a little late, but Origen were prepared. You know, flex pick Morgana. I think really the cornerstone of this pick and bans. Beautiful execution. I think Amazing could have spent this time a little better. You know, focusing on the tiny negatives. Wasted a lot of time, but at the same time, they were sure they weren't going to get ganked, and they played secure, and I think that's a nice approach against a team like Giants. They made one mistake where they got flanked, and they learned from it, and that's what I like seeing. Teams that are adaptive, they know what an enemy team is planning, and then they react to it the second time. Strong showing from Origen.
Well, we'll have to see if they can keep that one up. Giants, of course, were the 9th place team from the spring split, and while you have to give credit, Origen were in control the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
We'll need to see if they can up the level and if they can keep surprising, because this was a team composition I was not expecting from this particular squad, but it does still play to the style that they had, with Soares and Niels being some of the primary carries from the Challenger Series.
0-2-16 on Miffy. I like that a lot. You know, 16 assists out of a total of 18 kills in his first game on the LCS. And Miffy, if you don't know his history, he used to be a very lane dominant player. You know, he was one of the few